Pelicans are one of the most young teams in the NBA. And with a lot of luck, they got young pieces for Anthony Davis, and they even got the first pick in the NBA draft, sensation Zion Williamson. And Zion Williamson is the most college-typed NBA player since LeBron James. I don't really know if I should give you any explanation of him, because I'm pretty sure most people know who Zion Williamson is. He's a great athlete. Then there's some other players like Brandon Ingram. And this team is so good, right? This team is a great NBA team, right? They're such a good NBA team. And I even have picked them for the playoffs, right? They have all the talent to make the playoffs. And they're going to be a good future NBA team, right? And they have all the potential. But the bad thing about this is that they have been in this position before. And they've already not succeeded in this position. And for the first pick, they selected Anthony Davis. But they didn't have enough good pieces around him. They only made the playoffs 2 times out of the 7th season. Anthony Davis stayed in New Orleans, and that's pretty bad. And having a superstar like Anthony Davis and only making the playoffs 2 times is not that good. So what is the right path for the New Orleans Pelicans? What is next for the New Orleans Pelicans? Hey guys, it's AJ, and I'll be talking about the New Orleans Pelicans. I would really appreciate it if you guys could like and subscribe. And anyways, let's get into the young NBA players of the New Orleans Pelicans before we get into the great veterans of this team. So the young NBA players consist of Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Jackson Hayes, and more. I'm not going to talk about all of them because the big 3 of Lonzo Ball, Zion Williamson, and Brandon Ingram are the best young players on that team. And they're pretty good role players and all-stars. Zion Williamson is a sensation as he has the potential to be a LeBron James-like player. So why would the Pelicans even trade him, right? So Zion Williamson could be the Pelicans player, and they could be the best player. And Zion Williamson is probably going to be the Pelicans franchise player. So who is the next young player we want to talk about? Is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is an up-and-coming Kevin Durant. He could virtually do everything on the court. Play defense, anything you want. It's really good for the modern NBA. And he is like a Kevin Durant-esque player. Kevin Durant is a great player. And having a Kevin Durant-esque player is great for your team. And guys, Brandon Ingram is only 24 years old. And I haven't even mentioned, he's already an all-star. And then there's Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is like a great passer and an elite defender. Both elite passer and elite defender. He is great for the modern NBA. And he's even fixed his jump shot. He is great to play with Zion Williamson. But he has some problems. The problem he has is his free throw shooting. His free throw shooting isn't that great, and he has to improve 50% free throw shooting, which is so bad. 40% from field is not eye-popping. 50% free throw shooting is not good because other free throw shooters on this team aren't even that good. You have Zion Williamson, not that good free throw shooter. Josh Hart, not that good free throw shooter. Derek Favors, not that good of a free throw shooter. Drew Holiday, not that good of a free throw shooter. And you even have Brandon Ingram, who's okay from the free throw line. If you're going to foul any of these guys, you can't really trust them for making any of the free throws. So, in that case, Lonzo Ball has to get better at free throws. Has to get better at free throws. Because these other players, it's pretty hard for them to develop and get better at free throws. I need Zion to at least have a 70% for the free throw line. That wouldn't even be that bad. Under 70% isn't a good free throw shooter. At least be a 70% free throw shooter like LeBron James. And those are mostly the young players this team has. They have really young talent, but again, they've been in the same position. This team has had young talent like Anthony Davis, Julius Randle, but they haven't been making the playoffs. So what should they do? So for the veterans they have, like Derek Favors, I think they should keep Derek Favors. He is a great NBA player to play alongside Zion Williamson, and is a great modern NBA center. Most centers, all they need to do is really play defense and get rebounds. He plays that role, and he is just a perfect role player to play again alongside Zion Williamson. I think that is a great duo. And I forgot to mention, this starting lineup is first in net rating, which shows a lot of potential. So they should keep Derek Favors. Who should they trade? I think they should trade Drew Holiday or even JJ Redick. Both players are veterans, and these are the veterans they should trade. Drew Holiday is known to be one of the most underrated players in the NBA by NBA players. Even some NBA players call him the most underrated player in the NBA. Drew Holiday is a great playmaker and a great defender. And I will agree he's underrated, but I don't think he's the most underrated. I think the Pelicans should trade him, even though he's a key asset and he could play some defense as a shooting guard. And I think that's perfect and a perfect player. But they could get some young assets like Michael Porter Jr. from the Nuggets, or even Kendrick Nunn from the Miami Heat, or even Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat. This would be great for both teams, as the Nuggets need a great scorer alongside Nikola Jokic, and it would be a good defensive duo for Drew Holiday and Jimmy Butler. And not to mention, Drew Holiday isn't the worst scorer, and the Miami Heat need a scorer. And this team wants to go young, and I think this is a great decision to make, even though Drew Holiday is a key asset to this team. Then another player that they should trade is JJ Redick. Like, come on, JJ Redick is like a perfect role player. All he does is shoot three-pointers, which is great for the modern NBA. He's literally averaging 45% from the three. That is really, really efficient. And what team would not want JJ Redick? This league is a three-point league. And a team that doesn't want JJ Redick, I don't really know about that. They could get some key assets, even young players, for trading JJ Redick. And who doesn't want a good locker room man, like for young players? That is a great trade they could do to get some young players. And going young is a good option for the New Orleans Pelicans. My conclusion on this is, are they going to win a championship, or are they even going to contend for a championship? I don't know. Even if they make all these moves, I think it's going to be weird if they're favorites to win a championship. They have to completely turn around their team, and this is how they're going to make their team have a good NBA identity for many years. They're fully committed to the New Orleans Saints, not the New Orleans Pelicans. So this would also help with the Pelicans' identity. And I feel like they could be a good playoff team, but I don't know if they're gonna be title contenders, and I think that's a little bit weird. But you never know. That this team is a really talented young team, and when they are a little older, maybe they have that playoff experience and they could win a championship. I just don't know if the Pelicans would win a championship. Like a franchise like the Pelicans, I don't really know. I'm not saying the Pelicans have a bad franchise, but compared to other franchises, I don't know. Even with Chris Paul, they haven't really succeeded. And Chris Paul was the best point guard in the NBA. And how do you guys like this video? I really want you guys to like and subscribe to my channel. This is my opinion on the New Orleans Pelicans. Tell me in the comments if you disagree or agree with anything. And without further ado, peace out.